We have 48 people.
Okay. Okay, good evening, everyone. Dear participants from the BRICS countries, alumni from the previous years, adjudicators from all the 5 countries. Let me welcome you on behalf of 2 institutions once again, the Department of Science and Technology, Government of India, and the National Institute of Advanced Studies for the final day. It looked like we just started yesterday. 4 days have just ran so fast, and thanks for your patience. Thanks for your interesting slides. Thanks for your interesting work. It was a pleasure listening to you all. Let's look into the final day. There is a minor change than how we have done the other 3 days. We start with a panel discussion with our alumni. The BRICS alumni from the 2016 batch. We started, as I'm sure you are aware, this is the 6th batch. So we have 5 batches gone earlier. So we were able to get the former participants from the first batch to the last batch in 2020, from Chandigarh to Moscow. They will be interacting with us. I will come back to this later. After this, we will break into 3 sessions, not 4 sessions as we did yesterday and the day before. These 3 sessions would be healthcare, energy solutions, and cyber physical systems. Those who were a part of the innovators session, since your presentations are over, I request you to join any of these 3 sessions depending on your areas of interest. So these 3 sessions at 5:30. In 1 hour from now, I request you to join. After that, we will come back to the plenary session. All of us will come back to the same place where we will have a session in which the Innovators Prize, the winner of the Innovators Prize, would be announced. What we would do is we will have an introduction by Dr. Arvind Kumar, followed by presentation by top 5 participants in terms of those who came top 5, and then I'll request the 5 adjudicators from the 5 countries to make a remark, followed by we will make the announcement of who won the awards, and then I'll request remarks by those participants, and then we will move to the concluding session, the valedictory session. We will have a address followed by remarks by all the heads of 5 countries, and then we will end with the vote of thanks. And once again, I'll request you to take a look at our social media pages. This is not our page. When I say our, it includes you also. So this should be a part of your own interaction. This we have created so that you can interact with each other, not only in this batch, but also with the earlier batches. We have a Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and also YouTube page. Anyone wants to know more about it, kindly write to either Avishka or Sukanya. Now we will move to the main session. Starting from now, I have requested around 8 to 9 alumni members to join us. I'll first request Aparna Akula. Avishka, I hope she has joined. Yeah. What I would request the alumni is to make a brief introduction about you, the institution that you belong, and then your experience with BRICS, and more importantly, how we could make this BRICS alumni interactions much more useful, productive. The very idea of the BRICS is to bring to create a platform and bring you together. Since scientists like Aparna, Santosh are here since 2016, 2017, they would know what went right and what could have gone better. So I would request them to suggest how you can coordinate. We are only going to be the bridge. You have to interact. So maybe one point I request everyone, all the alumni, to look at that aspect as well. Request everyone to keep it 2 to 3 minutes, 3 minutes maximum. Yeah. so that then we'll have an interaction with the present batch. May I kindly request Aparna first. Aparna is a principal scientist with a CSIR/CSIO in Chandigarh. I'm sure she will be able to explain it, what that is. Aparna, good to see you. After a long time, you were a part of the first batch. You know, you were here in Bangalore. Over to you. I sincerely wish we are meeting in Bangalore in NIAS. All of you, the previous batches and also the present batch. But this is all we could do. Aparna, over to you.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Suba. In fact, it's my privilege to be here amongst the 6th batch participants, because it's a cycle coming back again to NIAS organizing the event. Of course, it's virtual, otherwise it would have been in Bangalore. The same hospitality you would have enjoyed, which we enjoyed. It's really great. Coming to myself, I'm Dr. Aparna Akula. I work as a principal scientist in a CSIR research lab, Central Scientific Instruments Organization. It's located in Chandigarh. The department I work is the Center of Excellence for Intelligent Sensors and Systems. So primarily my research area has been in the area of intelligent sensing systems. And in 2016, I represented BRICS under the computational intelligence theme. And if I look across the 6 batches, there is one or the other theme which is almost very relevant or connected, be it under the name of computational intelligence or cyber security, AI, and this batch of cyber physical systems. This itself shows the relevance or the necessity of the way cyber physical systems or AI is taking up or making all systems smart. And it's very relevant to all the BRICS countries, especially not just solving commercial problems, but from a societal upliftment perspective, applying them. And sharing my BRICS experience, I would say the gathering in 2016 and the lectures and the interactions with different people from different culture actually helped me in think in a much more broader perspective. It gave me the confidence to take up the leadership roles, be more bold, explore unexplored avenues. So that I would say, and I still cherish some of the friendships. The relations are still being continued both with the Indian participants, with the organizers, and also the other BRIC country participants. And in terms of learning or what could be done better, we had an alumni meet of BRICS India group in 2018. And I felt that was really helpful because it connected across batches, gave a platform for sharing the ideas. I think maybe now it's all in the virtual world. So I think we should take up this alumni meet in a virtual way, centered around specific themes, clubbing the relevant themes and have a discussion platforms among the batches. It would help in coming out with more S&D policies or projects. That's my perspective.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Aparna. I think the last point is very valid. Since we are now getting used to online interactions and alumni online interaction on specific themes could be a useful. Thank you for that suggestion. Avishka, I request you to kindly note down some of these suggestions. I think we should take it forward. Thank you, Aparna. It's good to see you after a long time again. Yeah. Yes. Now I'll request Santosh. Dr. Santosh was a 2017 batch. He was a part of the team that went to China. He is currently a senior scientist with the Coal and Mineral Processing Division in Jharkhand state. Santosh, over to you.
Thank you, Subha. It's wonderful, and I'm really overwhelmed to be part of this BRICS Young Scientist Conclave once again after my journey with the rest of the team in 2017. I'm currently working as a senior scientist at the CSIR Central Institute of Mining and Fuel Research, which is located in the central part of India. Typically, I am associated more towards the energy sector, where most of my research activities have been oriented towards batteries, supercapacitors, and hydrogen energy storage. Having said this, from my previous research experience, in fact, I have recently been assigned a new responsibility here to start and lead a new research group on hydrogen energy storage activities. So this equips me with greater responsibility. I mostly give this credit to the experiences that I've gained through this BRICS Young Scientist Conclave, because during which I came across various researchers with multidisciplinary backgrounds and domains, after interacting with whom I got some more insights about the various energy storage activities that I could participate and collaborate with. In addition to this, I've also interacted with a few foreign researchers from BRICS countries, especially the Russia, Brazil, South Africa as well. And we have been continuously in touch with all these researchers, have already published a few research publications jointly with all these partners. And it gives me a great pleasure that all these researchers equally value their commitment, their involvement and dedication towards each and every aspect of our interaction, either by email or through Skype or Zoom calls of this kind, and give their 100%. In fact, one of the translations that took place out of this BRICS Young Scientist Conclave is that in 2019, I was invited by one of the South African, then BRICS Young Scientist representative of South Africa, to her research lab in South Africa. It was a totally funded initiative taken by CSIR South Africa, where I spent about 15 days visiting various research laboratories, universities in South Africa. And it was a wonderful experience and a journey to cherish throughout my life. So considering the various types of experiences, what I feel is it is important to keep the ball rolling and the interactions alive between researchers. Unless we keep our interactions alive, it is difficult for anybody to frequently interact with the other person based in another city or in another country. And moreover, it is also important from a strategic point of view to interact with each other, so that a lot of faculty, student, and research experiences can be shared, and also people can travel between 2 or more countries. Once the pandemic eases, I think the travel will restore back into its original form, and subsequently interactions can physically take place. And finally, before concluding, I would like to say that having alumni meets and connecting with alumni of different batches is also equally important in order to make the best use of the interactions and get to learn more about various research activities happening across the globe, especially among the BRICS countries. And finally, it is important for these young scientists to act as pillars who can build upon their strength and subsequently lead the scientific community of their respective countries, and also be role models and representatives at the international scientific frontiers. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Santosh. Now I'll call upon Dr. Varsha Singh. Dr. Varsha is an assistant professor at the Center for Life Sciences, Molecular Biology and Bioinformatics Division at the Chitkara University Research in Punjab. Varsha?
Hi, Dr. Subha. How are you?
Please. Good to see you, Varsha.
You too. And thank you so much for involving me into this. And it's great to see that, BRICS YSF is happening every year. So many of things were like changed during the pandemic. Everything was virtual, but, the consistency that NIAS and DST have shown, in gathering the participants every year, it's amazing. I'm Dr. Varsha, and I'm from Chitkara University, and I'm leading Center for Life Sciences here for Molecular Biology and Bioinformatics Division. My work, took place when, was a hardcore researcher, and I was focusing on molecular biology aspects of non-communicable diseases. And, from then, once I entered the academic background, I started teaching, and then I started my research. And then, there were certain innovations that I had in my mind, which I was really waiting to, take ahead. And when I opened my lab, I had a lot of preliminary data. I did a lot of research on, I formed a team, and then, we built up little by little. And then, I entered into healthcare diagnostics from there. And the year I entered into healthcare diagnostics, BRICS Young Scientist Forum happened, and all that hard work I felt really, really paid off. Because I had a chance to showcase my innovation into a more wider platform. And what could be best is that we were contestants, participants and delegates from BRICS countries. So that really opened up avenues for me to showcase how healthcare diagnostics can be brought into developing countries. And now we have seen during the pandemic that how much of non-communicable patients, whether they were suffering from cardiovascular disease, renal disease, type 2 diabetes, how they were affected by COVID-19, and most of the mortality rates were among the cardiovascular patients. And these are the three areas, these are the three major diseases that my lab was also working on. You can say from bench to bedside is what is required in research. And we already had a very wide exposure through BRICS Young Scientist Forum of what other participants are doing, what other researchers are doing. And in that year also followed in the same year, I happened to establish my own startup, which also received a lot of recognition in terms of government fundings. So, that gave me not only a personal edge, but a professional edge in taking up how Southeast Asian countries are responding towards healthcare and how they're responding towards healthcare diagnostics. From there, I started thinking of how we can make cost-effective diagnostics available in Southeast Asian countries, or the developing countries. So and BRICS YSF actually made me to understand what actually science diplomacy is. What is required in policy making, and how healthcare system is actually working. So BRICS YSF overall gave me a holistic approach of how we can take our own innovations research to a wider audience, and how we can develop that platform to take it forward. So it has personally very immensely helped me and made me and it will also make you a visionary person. So it is a great platform, and I hope you guys are going to make most of it. All right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Varsha. Varsha was a part of the 2017 batch that visited China. Now we'll move to Dr. Rishamjit and Dr. Srijit. An interesting story about, they belong to the 2018 batch that visited South Africa. An interesting story is, while coming back after the workshop, the entire team missed the connecting flight, and they got stranded in South Africa for a couple of days. They were complaining. I was telling them, you have 2 extra days. Why don't you just relax and chill there in South Africa? I hope Rishamjit and Srijit would remember. Rishamjit, may I invite you now?
Thank you, Dr. Shubha. Thank you so much first for inviting me here and sharing this interesting story. We did enjoy actually quite a lot. It also,
I know.
We were complaining, but we had to. So in fact, on the way back, I also got the chance to go to Abu Dhabi. So during the transit, so it was overall, yes, a very good trip. Also from the technical aspect, as well as from visit also. Yes. So hi. So first of all, hi everyone. I'm Rishamjit Kaur. I'm working as a principal scientist at CSIR, Central Scientific Instrument Organization. CSIR has labs all over India, and in fact, it is very good to see my colleagues from different labs here. So personally, like my research area, it is in artificial intelligence, natural language processing, and social media and networks, you can say. So my research mostly involves trying to understand the collective behavior of humans, trying to understand how humans work, how their opinion evolved, and try to use it for solving mathematical problems, leveraging it for solving the engineering problems as well. So the one of the aspect is looking at the mathematical basis of the human behavior. The another aspect is to look at the social media, to look at the various crowdsourcing platforms which are available, and see that how the information which is being generated by the masses can be used for the social good, be it for the agriculture, be it for the medical, or also development of various open source tools to understand the spread of information such as fake news, which is quite relevant these days. So this is more or less about my research area. So when I talk about BRICS Young Scientist Forum, I was there in South Africa, Durban, and I have very fond memories of that place. That place gave me the opportunity to meet my collaborators, not just internationally, in fact, also from India. Like there were so many people from different institutes in India itself. And, I met my collaborators from other countries as well. And this platform sort of gives you an edge over the others, where you can already meet people, personally know them, decide if you want to work with them in future or not. And that's what happened with me. I met my collaborators from India, met my collaborators from Russia, South Africa. We collaboratively submitted a proposal to the BRICS. It also got accepted. So I'll say that please use this platform to interact with everybody, to network with everybody. I do understand that once we are back to our life, we are back to our work, doing our regular projects and everything, it becomes very difficult to be in touch with each other, to even drop an email regularly at the regular intervals. So one, of course, the alumni meets, alumni events, that definitely helps. And I think we should definitely do that more often. The another thing I feel that, since Dr. Shubha mentioned that there are so many social media accounts and platforms where where there are handles of BRICS and everything, I think we should somehow also take responsibility in putting up more information about what we are doing. If we get the projects, our research, our fellowships, awards, whatever, because it will give others also the opportunity to know more about us. At least from today onwards, I'll make it a point that I'll share more information using our social media platforms, and we'll try to keep it interactive and alive. And I hope all of you will also take up this chance to learn more about others as well. And this is where I'll stop, and I'll say thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you, Rishamjit. That's Dr. Rishamjit Kaur, assistant professor at CSIR Chandigarh here. The point she made on social media, it's a part of our BRICS YSF.org portal. So you could just access it, and then it will be useful if you could share information, as Dr. Rishamjit said, on your publications, on your research work, so everyone knows what is happening in other parts of the BRICS countries, especially as a part of the group. Now I'll invite Dr. Srijit Shankar. He is also a 2018 batch who got started in South Africa. He is an assistant professor, Photo Sciences and Photonics section, Chemical Sciences and Technology division. Srijit?
Hi, am I audible?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah.
You look the same.
Yes. Thank you, Professor Chandran, for this opportunity. It's after a very long time that this has happened. I think the last alumni meet happened in December 2018, just after we came back from South Africa. Unfortunately, alumni meets didn't happen after that for some reason. So I'm Srijit Shankar. I work as a senior scientist at the CSIR National Institute for Interdisciplinary Science and Technology, Thiruvananthapuram, India. So ours is an interdisciplinary lab, and I work in the Chemical Sciences and Technology division. And my research interests are centered around energy management solutions, particularly making materials that would allow someone to control and modulate the utilization of energy. So we work on the principle that energy saved is energy produced. And we are also work on coatings and different aspects of coatings a bit. And coming to BRICS Young Scientist Conclave, I was lucky to be part of the Indian delegation who visited South Africa in Durban in 2018. as Rishanjit just conveyed, probably we had the most adventurous as well as the longest young scientist conclave ever. Probably, as far as I remember, I started from Trivandrum and came back to Trivandrum after 20 days. So probably that was the longest one, and probably that would remain the longest one. And I'm sorry that this year's young scientist conclave is in the online mode. And the most important thing that this year's participants are missing is the personal interaction, and more importantly, the cultural aspects as well as the cuisine. So we had the opportunity to enjoy the taste of South Africa from Durban to Johannesburg. We were stranded in Johannesburg actually rather than Durban because we missed the connecting flight. That made the bonding much more strong. We still keep contact with all the alumni. And the most important aspect of the BRICS Young Scientist Conclave is that probably this is the one and probably the only one conclave where youth has their own voice. You are being heard by the heads of the countries, the policy makers, the decision makers. So if you speak up on this forum, there is a very good chance that your voice go into records, and this will have a big impact on different aspects of policy making, decision making, and so on. So please don't be afraid. Please speak up, be the voice of your country, be the voice of your institution. And also one thing I would suggest is that personally, I had a chance to interact with several prospective applicants of BRICS Young Scientist Conclave over the last 2 to 3 years. Because of the very interactive website and the social media platforms that NIAS is maintaining for this BRICS Young Scientist Conclave, all our contact details are available. I'm getting emails and phone calls. So I would like to request, especially Professor Chandran, to take a note that several people are eagerly waiting to get an opportunity to be a part of the Young Scientist Conclave, to get a flavor of what is happening. So apart from having a regular alumni meet, I would suggest also to have a webinar series or an online interaction where it need not be physical, but other people who were interested to be a part of the Young Scientist Conclave, but for some reason didn't get a chance, would also get the opportunity to know what is happening, to understand more about BRICS, the common problems in BRICS, the geographical distinction, and that would open up probably a larger platform where not only the alumni or the participants of the Young Scientist Conclave or people with similar thoughts can come together, and this Young Scientist alumni can be a coordinating entity who would bridge the people who didn't have a chance or who wish to have a chance to a part of a program like this. I hope this will be considered, and thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you, Srijit. Thank you for that suggestions and also the inputs. That is Srijit and Rishamjit from the 2018 batch. Now the next three scientists are from the 2019 batch that went to Brazil. I'll first call upon Dr. Ranjan Kumar. Ranjan, are you here with us?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Dr. Ranjan is an assistant professor, Department of Electrical Engineering, National Institute of Technology, Hamirpur. Ranjan, over to you.
Thank you, Professor Subba. And good afternoon, all the hosts and participants. Myself, Dr. Rajan Kumar, and presently I am working as an assistant professor in the Department of Electrical Engineering at National Institute of Technology, Hamirpur. So Hamirpur is a very beautiful place in Himachal Pradesh, and so I am working here since 2 years, and my research area is based on the renewable energy and its applications. Basically, I am working on the solar photovoltaic systems, its grid integration, and its standalone applications like water pumping system, okay, like solar electric vehicles. So I visited Brazil in 2019 as participants of BRICS Young Scientist Forum. So I have got many things from this forum, not only in terms of technical collaboration, but also in terms of a good relation with the participants of other 5 countries. So I was also looking for the research collaboration in my research area. So unfortunately, I have not found any collaborator in 2019 because the themes were the bioeconomy and cyber physical system. But this year, I was looking into the themes that is especially on energy solutions. So I hope I will find many collaborators, not only from the India, but also from the BRICS countries for the collaboration. So I am exploring my research area into the electric vehicles. So I am targeting the electric motor drives and battery chargers for electric vehicles. Okay, and I will also try to power the electric vehicles from the solar photovoltaic energy. So that is my present research area. And coming to the advantages of BRICS Young Scientists Forum. So main advantages is, of course, many participants have already mentioned that we need to find out some common research problem among the BRICS countries. So energy problem is also a common problem because we know we are unable to generate the energy which is required. Means we are unable to meet the energy demand, right? So how we can fulfill this? So of course we need to adopt the renewable energy sources like solar photovoltaic systems and wind energy and all that. So how we can increase the collaboration among the young scientists of the BRICS countries? So first thing is there in my mind that we can be provided some flexibilities in the website where we can share our present and future achievements, research achievements and research outcomes. So it will help out to identify the research area of each participants or each young scientist so that we can collaborate with them easily. Because today it is very easy to communicate with the participants because of we have the internet facilities and all that. So that is one point. So we can have some provision in the website. And I would like to congratulate all the participants of this year 2021. And I will invite some of the participants who are working in my research area to collaborate with us.
Thank you. Thank you, Ranjan. Thank you so much. That's Ranjan. He is teaching in Department of Electrical Engineering at National Institute of Technology, Hamirpur. Now let's move to Ravi Prakash. He is also 2019 batch. He went to Brazil. He is a PhD scholar in ICAT National Dairy Research Institute. Ravi, are you here with us?
Yeah, yes, sir. Good afternoon.
Ravi Prakash also won the Innovators Award. We still have that photo. Ravi, over to you.
I am very thankful to particularly our Subha sir. Actually, when I was selected for Young Innovator Prize, so I was a bit reluctant to go to Brazil. But he actually, when our phone call, when I said, no, sir, it is difficult, it is long journey. Then sir, no, you can make it. And like that, he inspired. And I find this Young Scientist Forum is very helpful. And not in terms of only research, but it helped me in getting so much recognition. Being a young innovator, when I presented my innovation in Brazil and I was awarded Young Innovator Prize. So after coming to India, I got so many calls, not only from India, but from foreign countries also about my product, whatever I have developed. So basically, I am working at National Dairy Research Institute, Bengaluru. Our area of research is on computational heat transfer and developing post-harvest machineries for dairy and agricultural produce perishables to protect them. And I find this research related to milk and helping small farmers is very helpful. This particular problem is prominent not only in India, but other developing nations also. The South Africa and Brazil, wherever this developing scenario is there, and energy self-sufficiency is not there. So at that point of time, the number of smallholder farmers is increasing continuously, and in that way it was recognized at that platform. And in terms of collaboration, I found particularly I could not connect with foreign counterparts, but in India, at least we can get a good network. So actually, I have some request and humble appeal to our organizers that at least on official portal, sir, if we can have some dynamic platform wherein we all can update our research publications, even patents, even not only young scientists, but young innovators can update their innovations or some innovative idea if they have to solve some common problems helping in BRICS nations. Those ideas can be submitted on that portal, like ResearchGate and other portals. So for example, if I want to connect with somebody in my area of interest, it is difficult to identify who is the appropriate person to connect with. So therefore, if that portal is having dynamic features of updating the research and innovations, then it will be easy for us to identify and find out at least 2, 3, or 4, 5 people from each batch, and then we can write mails to them and connect with them. Apart from that, in projects and all, I request that if it, apart from scientists, if there can be some scope for young innovators also, so that if they want to do some startup kind of thing collaboratively, and if they want to do incubator connect multinationally or bilaterally or multilaterally, so that way also it will enhance the innovation ecosystem. I agree with our previous alumni, those who have suggested about webinar series. That will be very helpful in connecting ourselves in future and collaborating. So in brief, I would like to say only this much. So anybody interested in my area of research, I welcome all of you to kindly collaborate with me. And thank you very much, Subha sir and Arvind sir.
Thank you, Ravi. We'll be in touch. Yeah, thank you for those inputs, very valid inputs that you gave. I'll come back to the points that you raised at a later stage. Now I'll request Dr. Prerna Mukherjee. She's an assistant professor in the School of Engineering in Jawaharlal Nehru University, New Delhi. Prerna is also belong to the 2019 batch that went to Brazil. Prerna, floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Professor Subha. It's a great pleasure to again see all my fellow young scientists who visited Brazil with me, and also to see rest of the participants or the alumni from the previous batches. It's a very nice thing to again, connect in such a difficult time on an online platform like this. So yeah, hi to everyone. I'm Dr. Prerna Mukherjee. I am currently working as assistant professor at School of Engineering, JNE. I was one of the BRICS YSF alumni in the year 2019. We visited Brazil, and I showcased my research in the area of cybersecurity. And this year, I find that cyber physical system, which is a very closely allied area, is again one of the themes for this year's forum. So I particularly work in the area of computer vision, and I have worked on various applications which are at the interjunction of IoT and vision, such as smart transportation, air pollution monitoring, and women's safety application development. So, hello.
Go ahead, Prerna. I request the others to kindly mute the mics.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Prerna.
So I would like to briefly discuss about one of the areas which I have been working for some time after my PhD, which is smart transportation. So if we look at the context of transportation or traffic scenarios, particularly in the developing nations like India, we'll find that the scenario is pretty much different from what we have in Western countries. So it's not that streamlined. It is more of chaotic in nature, as well as there is a lot of heterogeneous nature of traffic that we find in India. Therefore, if we talk about solutions such as complete autonomous driving solutions in India, probably that won't fit rightly into current context. But yeah, definitely we can do something in the context of advanced driver assistance system. So that is what I have been working over the period of time. So in one of the works, one of the use cases which I tried to develop was basically that we tried to aggregate different sensor information, such as cameras and proximity sensors. So take an example of a moving car, and we have a frontal camera, which is looking at the driver's actions. So it would be, we try to develop algorithms which would try to estimate what is the gaze prediction of the driver, where the driver is currently looking at, what is the head orientation of the driver. Then there would be a cross view camera which would try to analyze what is the current kind of activities which are happening within the car, such as whether the driver is talking to the co-passenger, whether I'm looking at my phone, or whether I'm looking outside, something like that. And then there could be a camera which is looking outwards and trying to estimate the scene statistics of the outside world. Apart from that, there would be some algorithms which would be helpful in identifying that whether the objects present on the road are on potential collision course of the moving car. So along with all this information, when aggregated together, we try to develop an inference engine which would help the driver to take up appropriate decisions at the right time before any casualties.
Prerna?
So such kind of, yeah.
Yeah, we have two more, if I could.
Yeah, sure.
Request you to be brief.
So,
thank you.
Yeah, so that is the kind of work I have been working on. And I have been very fortunate that I got this opportunity and to visit Brazil and showcase my research with the rest of the community from other BRICS nations. And in this journey, I was able to develop a lot of new friendships, as well as could collaborate with many other people who were working on some areas which were interdisciplinary, multidisciplinary in nature. And after coming back to India also, I have been in constant touch with them, which has really helped me in broadening my perspectives on the work. And yes, it has given me a huge perspective and helped me in having a holistic growth. So I would wish all the and congratulate all the members who have been selected for this year, and you should definitely utilize this forum.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Prerna. Now I'll request the last three, Ranjan, Ravi, and Prerna. They are from the 2019 batch that visited Brazil. Now we'll move to the 2020 batch. We are fortunate to have Dr. Sergei Sorokin from Russia. He's a director of the Exhibition Center of the Penza State University, Moscow. Dr. Sorokin, are you there with us?
Dear colleagues, dear Professor Subba, can you hear me?
Good evening.
Good evening. Good evening. It's a pleasure to be here, and I'm very glad that we have a good association, alumni, and it's very good that we can communicate after our meeting. And I hope in the future we can also use this kind of opportunity. First of all, let me talk about a little bit about myself. I was born in Russia. Penza State University is located in Penza city. It's not far away from Moscow. Hope one day we will have an opportunity to come to Penza and see our beautiful city. My scientific area is image processing. We use also neural networks, and our application could be used in medical spheres, in education purposes. For example, we can recognize expression of children, how do they like the course, or maybe they have some misunderstanding about this. And I'd like to tell a little bit more maybe how we can use this association, I mean, in the future. I think it's a great idea that we have an opportunity to submit an application for mutual grant, joint grant between Russia, China, India. But I think we have to ask together from our government to provide more opportunity for young scientists and innovators. And maybe after today's meetings, we will discuss it, how we can do it together between Russia, India, Brazil, South Africa, and China. I don't have much time, and I hope all of you know my email, and we can communicate efficiently later. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Dr. Sergey Sorokin. You are the only person from the last batch, and you are the first one we didn't see in person. It happened online, but I'm glad you could make it, and then you could interact with the rest of the participants. I sincerely hope we all remain in touch. Thank you once again, Dr. Sergey Sorokin. Now we have 15 minutes. You heard that. Let me get back to the participants and the alumni together. You heard the alumni from the 2016 batch to the 2020 batch talking to you. Maybe I would request if there are any queries that you may want to put across to the alumni, or is there anything that you think we can do better? If there are any suggestions, because I don't think we will have any time at a later stage to discuss amongst us on how to strengthen this forum. So if anyone has an idea, please let me know. Let us know. You can put the question to the alumni, and maybe towards the end, maybe I'll request the delegation. I see Carlos is there and a few others. If there is anything that you may want to say at this stage, at the end of the session, I'll request you. Otherwise, we will go with it. Anyone would like to have the floor? I request you to raise the hand so that I can. No? I think this would not have happened if we are there in person. By this time we would have started talking with each other. It's unfortunate this, how much ever online brings us closer. There he is. A friend from Brazil, Joa Pedro Noachado, please.
So hello everyone, congratulations for all the projects. It's a pleasure to be here with you, especially joining this alumni network. I'd like to ask for those who were awarded with some type of resources or money, how does it affect your project, and how did it help in order to continue it and maybe implement it?
Anyone would like to respond to that? Santosh?
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Rishabjit, do you want to take it?
Yeah.
It's okay. Dr. Santosh can go ahead.
Okay. Just a couple of things. Based on these experiences, it was easy for us to identify the right set of people during our interaction and further establishment of contacts. And getting the funding was also a bit tricky because of the fact that the competition was quite high, and identifying the right set of projects that would catch the interest of the reviewers and that of the funding agency from all these countries, participating countries, was a challenging task. However, we somehow identified the team and aggregated, and everyone in the team contributed equally in order to make it more successful. So based on this, based on the support of all the participating teams, it was easier for us to identify the right set of people and subsequently take the project ahead.
Thank you. Rishabjit, you have a point on this?
Yeah, it's more or less similar to Dr. Santosh that yes, BRICS anyways provides us the platform where we can connect with the right people who share the same interest with us. And in terms of the funding or resources that you asked, how it further help you, like the funding structure is different for the different countries. Some may provide it for exchange, some may provide it for equipment and hiring more of the resources. So it will depend upon what kind of funding your country will provide it to you. But like for us from India, it was a lot for the exchange, for the travel part, which unfortunately because of COVID, we could not really use that. So yeah, but other than that, it definitely gives gives us an opportunity to work on the common problems and to connect with a lot of people and keep this interaction and collaboration going on. I'll say that funding becomes also like a sort of a way to keep this association with BRICS also, keep it going. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Prashamjit. Any other input? Question?
Just a question from my side.
Okay, please. Lungile, please.
Udit here. So, can you name few of the calls or call for proposals which you were able to submit a proposal, joint proposal, maybe from DST or any other funding agency?
Okay. Just hold on, Udit. We will take one more question from Lungile. Lungile, can you? Yeah, there you are. We can see you also, because this is the only opportunity. You know, if you close your video, we can't even see you.
Yes, good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for the opportunity. I just wanted to ask if the alumni had any collaboration with other alumni, and how did that go, if it went well, and just give us the good things about that collaboration. Thanks.
Okay, that's a good question. Barnali, you have a question?
Yeah. So actually, because this field is very much diverse, so how do we define research problem? Like my field is quite different from the other participants. So it's like a very, so how do we really get that interesting people who would like to collaborate?
Sure. Sergi?
I just would like to ask the previous question, to answer the previous question about the possible collaborations. Let me share a little bit my experience. In Russia, we have a big Russian fund to support researchers and innovators. And I think we have the same funds in India and other countries. And I had an experience of submitting an application, a mutual application between Russia, Brazil, and China. It was our first experience, my first experience, and we didn't get the fund. But anyway, we get a good experience, and next year we'll definitely submit it, and I hope we will succeed. But let me tell you, using these communications, email address on alumni site, we can definitely find partners, and I think it's not a big deal to ask to find a partner from your research area. Everyone is open, and I think it's not a big problem. But the problem is we don't have, as far as I know, we don't have much opportunities for mutual submission, for mutual grants. That's why during my first speech, I just made a suggestion. Maybe we can ask together, from BRICS country, ask our government, it should be kind of polite request. Maybe they will provide more opportunity for us next year or after year. So
sure. Maybe Varsha, you may want to respond to that question because you also worked with many other projects. How did you raise? How did you approach? The collaborators, the funds. Santosh, I'll come to you.
Yeah, I did apply for a joint project with 2 to 3 people, PIs across Brazil and South Africa earlier. Definitely, it's a highly competitive grant. But one thing I've noticed is that it becomes easy when you approach one collaborator, they can connect you to the other collaborators who are from your own domain. You can always ask and increase your through the participants, you can approach other collaborators who are working in the same domain. So one of the collaborators I approached from South Africa was not working in that particular domain, but he had a courtesy to connect me to someone else in the healthcare sector. So that direct or indirect link you can establish and ask them to connect to the relevant people. But thereafter, definitely the grants are very, very highly competitive. then what I did was that I started to look into the aspect that how I can bridge that gap first in India and then approach other collaborators, then complete that profile of mine in a way, get some funds and then take my innovation to the next level to get connected to other collaborators who really want to have already maybe a product or a project already at a stage. So that is one advantage that it has given me, connecting to people from other stage to the other.
Thank you. Santosh, hold on a minute. I'll just give the floor to Claudio and then let him ask his question and then I'll come back to you. Claudio, over to you.
Oh, thank you. I would like to ask for the alumni what kind of collaboration did get the most? It was like joint projects, it was just exchanging students, it was seminars, papers. Which kind of collaboration you got from here that you gave you the most experience, most resources in wherever way possible?
Okay, I think Santosh should be the right person. He did both.
Yes, I did all the things.
Yeah.
In fact, answering to both Claudio's question and the question on the various possibilities of funding projects, there are bilateral programs between Indo-Russia, Indo-South Africa, as well as Indo-Brazil. So apart from the BRICS collaborative project platform, these bilateral platforms can also be made use of, and subsequently partnerships between the two nations can be established, and identified researchers can participate actively in those projects. Coming to this question in terms of what kind of activity gave us the more possibility and platform, is that it depends on the individual per se, because of the fact that you can either establish initial collaboration in terms of publishing joint research activities, which can subsequently turn into joint projects, and later on can help you visit the partner at the other country, or you may invite another country partner to your place, and that kind of relationship can further strengthen to exchange of students, colleagues, and various other junior people. So likewise, it is more of building up relationship and then utilizing the available opportunities to strengthen your case. Thank you.
Thank you. Srijit, you want to respond to any other questions?
Yes, Professor Subha, one of those questions related to how to find the right collaborator. I think one option would be like we have an active website for the BRICS alumni. If we somehow add the research interests of each person to that website, one line, that would help. Maybe a keyword search or something would give the right answers to the question. And secondly, regarding the collaborations, from my experience, I could really contact the head of CSIR South Africa, and they responded for every email. The response was there. So not only the alumni, but I think the Department of Science and Technology in every country can be contacted directly through this platform. All the contact details are available, and once you are a BRICS alumni, you don't really need an introduction anymore. So I think apart from just contacting the alumni members, I think the decision makers in the Department of Science and Technology in all the participating countries can also be contacted.
Thank you. Thank you. Barnali, your hand is raised, is it? Or is it, you have a point?
No.
Okay.
No, yeah.
You have or no? Okay. No, I'll come back to this website.
No, I don't have. I'm good.
Yeah. I'm glad to know you're good. On this website and this social media pages, while doing the conclusion, I'll come back to you. Anyone else? Aparna, you have any response to the points that were raised by the current batch, or anyone from the current batch would want to post something to? There's Elima Hussain. Elima, go ahead.
Sir, I would like to ask how startups can use this platform.
Yeah, I think Varsha would be the right person for this.
Yeah, thank you. yes, this platform has immensely helped me, because in the following year, as I mentioned, I opened my startup, and then, I got at least 3 to 4 government grants also for my startup. First you can identify, the area, and see how, what is the requirement of the developing countries. When I identified that particular part, I was able to, go into more depth and realizing, what is the actual problem. So once I saw that, then my startup was into ocular diagnostics, because it is a very secondary epidemic that is happening. And then I went around also into the Southeast Asian countries, 1 or 2 countries I covered, and then I collaborated with them. And this had given me an edge, because you try to you after YSF, I started to going into more depth of the topic, of the problems of the healthcare system. So and obviously when you want to secure a grant also, this platform helps a lot for getting good relations with other colleagues, and talking out also, because I know I was talking to Santosh a lot about when I was opening a startup, and there were a lot of opinions that I had taken from him also. So those opinions really matter a lot when you are really into opening a startup, but that problem really has to be identified, especially from developing nations.
Thank you, Varsha. I hope, Elima, that answered your question. Aparna and Rishamjit, you have anything to respond to any other queries?
Nothing specific, but I would say to one of the questions, which like how better the collaborations can happen, I would say connecting over the alumni network, because now we have grown over 6 batches, that I still feel would be very helpful. And they can help us in connecting their colleagues rather than just confining to your batch. I would suggest open up, because there are many similar fields, so that would really be helpful. It's not always just a collaborative project, but maybe just collaborating or discussing ideas or cultural exchange of things also would help you both professionally and personally. So I think we should focus on that aspect also, not just how do we get fund. That is also there, but the other aspects, learnings should be taken into.
Okay, thank you, Aparna. Maybe I'll ask this question to Sergi, because his batch was the first batch that met online. See, while the previous batches met in person, personal connection always helps. You're able to manage. Sergi's batch was the first batch, and the batch that is meeting now is the second batch that's meeting online. Hopefully, the next batch will have a different experience. Sergi, maybe I'll ask you, how did you manage? How did you manage this conundrum of meeting online, still keep in touch? May I ask you, please?
Yeah. Dear Professor Subha, thank you for your question. It's a really, interesting experience. It was my first experience, in online participation with a huge audience and a lot of friends. But I think there are a lot of things in common, between us. In Russia, in other countries, scientists have a lot of in common. We're all curious, and we all want to make a world a better place. That's why, of course, I completely agree with you. Personal meeting is better in any ways compared to online meeting. But after just a few minutes of communication with you, with other participants, I think it's not a big deal. Ask you later about joint publications, joint grants, student exchange. Nowadays, maybe in some kind it's easier compare in online meetings, because I'm in Russia, you're in another city, but we can organize a meeting between a lot of people just in 5 minutes. In some cases, it's easier, but of course, I will be happy that pandemic will end soon, and we can meet in person and communicate.
Thank you. Thank you, Sergi, for that input, because since most of you would be meeting online, I think a note from Sergi will help you how to make this productive, Now I will turn, there is one point that repeatedly asked about the website. This is what we at the institute here, we are trying to strengthen your individual pages. And we are hoping that we'll be able to do this. In between, we were trying to have a quarterly newsletter amongst the BRICS alumni, just informing who is doing what. But unfortunately, we all got busy. When I say we, you got busy. So we could not get, so except for Santosh and Varsha, or maybe 3 more people, I could not get anything from you folks. That would be a good idea to keep in touch, if not on a daily basis, maybe once a quarter, we'll be able to help you, because this is an investment that we have made. We should be able to have a quarterly brief, just containing what you are doing, what you have published, what is the research work, what are the projects that are available, that is doable. If you could just spend half an hour every 3 months, this is a doable one. I would strongly recommend you. We are trying to do this also online with our website. Yeah. Now I'll turn to some of the senior members of the SNT team here, the delegations. You listen to the discussion. Is there anything that you would like to comment at this stage? May I request Carlos, are you here with us? Is there a point that you would want to? Yeah.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Chandran. And I really appreciate the information that the alumni have given us in this session, because we are always telling our ministers and the other representatives from the government that the idea of the BRICS Young Scientists Forum is to try to shape the next generation of researchers and scientists as a truly BRICS identity. And sometimes we can do the job in the regular basis each year, but we don't see how this relationship is constructed in the next year. So these testimonials that we had today, it's quite impressive, and I really appreciate the testimonials from our alumni participants from the BRICS Scientists Forum. Thank you very much for India for doing that, and I hope in the next editions of the BRICS Young Scientists Forum we continue this kind of gathering between our young scientists and young innovators. I'm very glad to see Javi Prakash here, because he won the Young Innovators Prize in Brazil in Rio de Janeiro. And I really appreciate to see that the continuity of his work. Thank you very much for this.
Thank you, Carlos. I'm not sure whether you heard a crucial phrase that Carlos used, identity. Creating a BRICS Young Scientist identity. I think that's a very valid point that he made. I think we all should take it very seriously. You should take it seriously in terms of creating a BRICS Young Scientist identity. Now, is Albina here from Russia?
Yes,
there you are.
Yes, I'm here. Thank you very much, Professor Chandran, for this session. Yes, it was very useful for us, and it was really interesting to listen to the alumni society for their ideas and thoughts, and I think that we will use them for our future forums, and yes, to have this forum, to have the unique and the one platform for all the participants, for all alumni society.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Albina. Thank you. Special thanks also for recommending Sergi, because he is the only person from the last batch. Thank you. Special thanks to you, and thanks to you, Sergi. May I now request Dr. Arvind Kumar from India.
Hello, am I audible?
Arvind, not you. DST Arvind.
Sorry.
There are two Arvind here.
So,
That's
thank
all
you.
right.
Thank you, Dr. Subha. And it was really very interesting session in the sense that it brings at a common platform the present young scientists as well as the few of the past young scientists who have participated in the conclave. So such you can say initiative or action indeed help us to connect the different batches and converge on some of the good idea for future research work, so that they can start thinking or start doing the action for the future initiative. So with that, we have introduced this session this year, and I think it has gone very well, as I can see from the interaction among our youth, and hopefully this will continue in our future program. So I thank all the participants who has agreed to be part of this panel discussion, taking their time and despite their busy research work, either in India or abroad. So I'm thankful to them.
Thank you.
And let us continue such effort in the future too. Thank you.
Thank you, Arvind. May I request Dr. Wenjing, if Dr. Wenjing is here from China?
Yes. Thank you, Dr. Subha.
Please, sorry, I could not see you.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay. Thank you so much for organizing this session. I think this is a good try to, to enhance the interactions among the BRICS young scientists and the innovators. I think maybe next year we could also organize such session to have this tradition. And I'm also happy to hear that some young scientists, the innovators, they have established good cooperation through this platform, and they have benefited from this platform. And they also proposed very good recommendations, and I think this is helpful for us for the future decision making, and it is also helpful for us to improve this platform. This is, I think we should, as the government officials, I think we should focus on the recommendations that the young scientists or the innovators, they have proposed. That's just what I think for now. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Wenjing, for that note. Now let's move to the last one from South Africa, the SNT coordinator from South Africa, Panka.
Yes, good afternoon, Dr. Chandra. Thank
Please.
you. Yeah, this is a very exciting platform. I'm very excited about the comments made by the previous alumni, and that they have made really good connections with other participants that they met in the previous years, and the work that they are doing and they have embarked on is carrying on very well, and it's encouraging indeed. And I'm also happy that one of the 2016 participants came to the CSIR, which is one of our best institutions on science. And I hope he has still good and great contact with the CSIR. The recommendations made by the previous participants will be carried forward as a collective of the BRICS STI, and further discussions will ensue so that we make good of the intention, and we carry the mandate of the BRICS forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Panka. Now we will bring this session to an end. Though we overshot, but I purposefully wanted to get the best of this session, so that the present batch gets what we can learn from the previous batches, I think some of the questions on how to work, what to work, were very important, and it's better that you listen from the previous batches. Let me take this opportunity to thank all those from the alumni from the 2016 batch to 2020 batch, starting from Aparna to Sergi. Thank you so much for spending time with this. This also shows how interested the alumni is in terms of investing not only their time with their batch, but also with the future batches. I think they have set a trend and they have set an example, which this batch, I think, should carry the tradition. I think there is a larger pool that we are building, you are building. I think we should take it forward, with the interest that you could see from the 2016 to 2020 batch. Let me thank them on behalf of the present batch, NIAS, DST, and all the ministries from the 5 countries. Let us thank those alumni, because you are the one who keep us going, that who make that this is a process that you heard from the coordinators from the 5 countries, that this is something that we want to keep going. Thank you so much for spending your time with us. Let me also thank the coordinators for listening to them and also responding to them. Thank you all from Kerala to Panka for your inputs. Now let's move to the next thing in our agenda, the 3 working groups. As I request those who were a part of the innovator session to join one of